Hey everyone, it's Lindsay. I'm back with my favorite quilt store, and today we're going to make this tiny tote. Isn't it so cute? This would be perfect for Valentine's Day, teacher's gifts, just a little basket to sit on your sewing table to throw in your clips, anything like that. But this is how it looks, and this is what we're going to make today. So let's get into it. Okay, so all you need to make this is two 10-inch squares. So I have these left over from a quilt that I made. This is Darling Peony from Robin Pickens. So you're going to need two 10-inch squares, a 10-inch square of fusible interfacing. This one is the HeatnBond fusible interfacing, and I am not sure the number on this one, but I will link it in the description below. So you need those two things, and then you're going to need some scrap fabric. So this was from the border of my quilt, and I just cut out 2 by 7-inch rectangles, 2 of them. So these we're going to kind of make a little bit of a binding and fold, and these are going to be the handles of our basket. So let's get started. So you're going to choose whichever one is going to be your main fabric, and then you're going to go ahead and iron your interfacing to it. The interfacing has kind of a rough side and then a more smooth side that kind of feels like a felt or a fleece or something like that. So you're going to use that rough side face down to the not pretty sides of your fabric. You're going to press that down and get it nice and good on there. You can also cut pieces for your handles. I did on my first one, but I don't think I'm going to do a test where I am doing it without it, because I feel like it's just a little bulky, and getting that under my sewing machine was not fun. So you're going to take your 10-inch squares. I'm just going to go ahead and stack these so I don't have to cut multiple times. And then you're going to cut 3-inch squares out of each of the corners. So I'm going to go ahead and cut 3 inches out of each of my corners. Don't judge my cutting here. I need a new blade. Once you've cut 3 inches out of each corner, you should end up with this nice little plus sign for both of your fabrics. So we have the main with the fusible interfacing, and then we just have the lining. So we're going to fold each of these, and I'm just going to place a clip on each one of them. Put my clips in my cute little bag. So I got a clip on that corner to that corner. Here, and as you start clipping these, you'll start to form a bucket shape, and then where these clips are, these are the lines that we're going to sew. So now you see I've got this nice little square bucket. We're going to sew on each of these edges, and we're going to do the same for the main. using a 1/4 inch seam allowance here. And I'm just going to continue this on every single side. Don't forget to backstitch when you start and stop sewing. Last one for the lining. Okay, now I have my lining. I'm just going to flip that out and get that ready for when I need to use it next. But you can see we're already starting to form a nice little bucket here. Now for the mane. Do the same thing. Fold each side, clip or pin, whichever you prefer. I prefer clips, but I'm just lazy. So I don't like to sit and pin a whole lot. The clips, they're just easier for me and I love them. Okay. Now I have that one sewn. I'm going to put that there. So for the straps, you're just going to do this like you would a normal binding. So you're going to fold in half, press, and then fold each end in half again, and then fold that all together in half. And then we're going to clip it just like this. I'll insert a video of me pressing these, and then we're just going to go in and stitch. I'm trying to get as close to the edge as I possibly can. You could stitch both sides if you like. I'm just going to stitch one today. Ready to baste our handles where they need to go. I'm just going to trim up some threads here before I do that, so I don't have to do it later. Okay, that one's good. So is this one. Okay. Now I'm just going to clip these in on one side. I'm going to eyeball these. So you could adjust the length however you want. I feel like it's a bit weird if you're using it as a basket. If you're using it as like a little bag to give something in, I think that this length is perfect for this because it looks like a nice little tote bag. But if you're wanting to use it as a basket, you can either forego the handles, or I might even shorten them up a bit. So keep it this length when you're sewing them, just so it's a little easier, but maybe bring it up an inch out, baste that, and cut off the excess. Just so that it's like a little bit shorter. I'm going to make another one and maybe throw it in at the end of this video with those shorter handles, but for this one I need 2 teacher gifts, so I'm going to make 2 of the exact same. So here I go. I'm just going to clip this in probably about 1/2 inch or so in from the edge. Clip, clip. And then I'm also going to do the same on the other side for the second handle. So I'm just going to mirror that on the opposite side. Clip. And clip. Then you're just going to baste those stitches down really quick. I like to back stitch a couple times just to make sure that they're secure. Don't know what I did to get a bunch of extra threads there, but I'm just going to trim those up. So now we have those basted in, and we are going to insert our lining. So the lining is right sides facing out. You can either go ahead and iron this, just poke those corners out. That's what I do, and then I'm going to iron it at the end. You're going to put that in, match up those side seams. You can pin or clip here. I'm going to clip. You know I prefer the clips. All 4 corners. If you want to add more pins, feel free. Okay. So now you're going to sew completely around your thing. We're going to pick a side that doesn't have our handles. We're going to leave about a 2-inch gap open. So I'm going to start on this end, leave a 2-inch gap on the other side, and then I'll show you how to flip it out. Okay, I'm coming to the side where I need to leave that 2-inch gap. So I'm going to go a little bit over, back stitch, lift up my presser foot, bring it down to where I want it, back stitch again, and finish sewing till I meet my starting stitch. Pull that away, trim my threads. Now we're going to flip this bag out. So you're going to separate that little hole that you just created there, and I like to fill in there, kind of grab one of the handles and see if I can pull out majority of the bag this way. And then you're going to start feeding it through, just like if you were making a scrunchie or anything like that. Pull all that through, turn it inside out, or right side out. little difficult, but it's definitely worth it. Okay, here is our cutesy little bag. Almost ready. So the difference, if you don't use the interfacing in the handles, they're not going to stand up as well. So see how this kind of just flops over. It might be a little bit different once I put that basting stitch or that top stitch in. Here is the edge that we just pulled everything through. I'm going to finger press this just a little bit, and then I'm going to take it to the iron before I go and top stitch all the way around. But I'm just trying to get everything the way that I want it so far. But here's a little comparison just side by side of the two with interfacing in the handles and without. So they are a lot more floppy. They are standing up still, but if that's a deal breaker to you, you may want to consider that. Okay, I'm going to take this to the iron this real quick, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I gave it a nice press. Now we're going to top stitch around the entire perimeter of our bag. I'm going to start on the opening edge. So I folded those edges in, the raw edges in, and we're going to start top stitching there. You're going to want to get as close to the edge as you can, probably about 1/8 of an inch. So now we have a completed tiny tote bag. It's super cute. You could definitely modify the size and shape by bringing in those corners more or less, and then having bigger or smaller squares starting out. Hopefully I can make some of different sizes. I think it would be cute to have 3 like nesting sizes for these, if you wanted to use them to store like your sewing notions, like my bobbins, clips, little scissors, anything like that. I think this is perfect. This is a great gift for your friends, your quilting friends, your sewing friends, or like a gift for your kids. So what I'm going to use these for is gifts for my daughter's teachers. So I'm going to put like a nice little Germex in there, a gift card, maybe some candies and stuff like that for Valentine's Day. I also went ahead and did another little step here. I wanted to do a bow, but my fabric wasn't quite long enough for that. So I just did this little like bag charm scarf, and I think that's such a cute idea because bag charms are so in right now. And it just kind of gives a little pizzazz or something like that. I don't know. I just thought it was really cute. I also want to show you one more thing. This one's not quite done yet. I just had the idea right before I started to film this video. So I have these pom-pom makers. I chose my tiniest one because our bag is teeny tiny. And I picked a coordinating fabric, and I just cut some scraps that I had, like 1/4 of an inch strips. And then I took the strip, just wrapped it around my pom-pom maker like a normal pom-pom would if you were making it out of yarn or something like that. And then I came up with this. I'm gonna modify this a little bit and maybe put some ribbon in here instead of this fraying fabric, but I thought this could be super cute if we, let's see, cut off a little bit of this. So here's our pom-pom. I'm gonna take it, wrap it around here, feed it through itself. And then we have a nice cutie little bag charm pom-pom. This one's a little, dingy because it's super fray, but I think that would be really cute. Even if you made these out of yarn or anything like that, I think that's perfect gift. So let me know what you think. If you make these, please tag me in them. My Favorite Quilt Store on Instagram, Facebook. Email them to me, team@myfavoritequiltstore. Just let me know how you like it, and we'll see you in the next one. Happy sewing!